2 Australians are among 10 people who've tested positive for the coronavirus on a cruise ship off the coast of Japan. There are nearly 4,000 passengers and crew on board, including 223 Australians. They're all being quarantined in their cabins for 2 weeks. It comes as more Australians who are trapped in Wuhan in China are flown to Christmas Island. We'll get the latest from reporter James Carmody on Christmas Island in just a moment. But first, North Asia correspondent Jake Sturmer is in Yokohama, where medical tests are continuing for cruise ship passengers.
A cruise through Asia has ended abruptly in Yokohama when an 80-year-old passenger who disembarked in Hong Kong tested positive to the coronavirus. Now it's been revealed 10 other passengers, including 2 Australians, have also contracted the virus. They've been taken from the ship for treatment ashore, but for the remaining guests and crew, they're confined to their cabins, and some are growing concerned about the conditions.
We have not eaten since 7 p.m. last night, and it is 11:50 in the morning. I'm a diabetic and I'm insulin dependent. The reality for me is, if I don't eat something very soon, I will be in a coma.
Normally the passengers would be getting off the ship at this cruise terminal, but for the almost 4,000 on board, their stay will be extended a little longer, around 2 weeks, enough time for authorities to make sure nobody else on board is sick. Japanese health officials say everyone on board the Diamond Princess was given an initial health screening, and with results of further tests not back yet, there's a chance more people will fall ill. There are more than 200 Australians still on board.
We are making inquiries about the welfare of other Australian passengers and any need for consular assistance.
Food services have been restored, but all meals are being delivered to the cabins. While most have balconies, it'll be a long 2 weeks for those on board. Jake Sturmer, ABC News, Yokohama.
And Jake Sturmer joins us now from Yokohama. Jake, we understand the ship has left the port. What's going on? Is it going to have to come back?
Yes, Juanita, it will. Right now the ship is out to sea. It's had to do that so it can flush out the wastewater and to make sure it can produce and ensure there's enough fresh water on board. We've just heard in the last few minutes or so the ship will return here tomorrow morning to the port. It'll be resupplied, and this will be the view of the passengers for the next 2 weeks. Now, of course, the ship was here earlier this morning to let those 10 confirmed cases off the ship. They're all in nearby hospitals, and we understand their condition is not considered serious. For those on board, though, it is going to be a long couple of weeks confined to the cabin, but we're hearing from some on board that there's still plenty of red wine. So for now, morale is generally high.
Jake Sturmer reporting there from Yokohama. An 8-year-old boy is the latest person in Australia to test positive to the coronavirus. He's being treated in a hospital on the Gold Coast. And another 35 Australians have been evacuated from the centre of the virus outbreak in China. They'll join more than 240 evacuees already quarantined on Christmas Island. James Carmody reports from the island.
Touching down in Auckland, the latest Australian evacuees from Wuhan still have a long journey home. From New Zealand, they'll head here to Christmas Island for their 14-day quarantine stay. And planning for a second and final Australian chartered flight is underway.
The arrangements at Christmas Island are working well, and we are working now on a further flight into Wuhan.
The first evacuees arrived here on Monday night. Dozens of children are among the 240 people who have been isolated in the island's near-empty detention centre. Some have sent photos from inside to the ABC. They've complained about the quality of the accommodation and the food, saying it feels like a prison, and they say their release can't come soon enough. While some evacuees are not happy about conditions inside this heavily fortified centre, on the outside there's some community concern about locals potentially catching coronavirus from them or from the people working with them. Christmas Island's administrator says that no one working in close contact with the evacuees will be staying in the broader community during the quarantine period.
I feel something for both the people who've been confined at the detention centre now, because they're far from home, and also I'm concerned that the people of the island continue to have concerns about the threat of the virus to them personally.
But school is back, and the holiday pace of island life here rolls on. It's this easy, relaxed way of life locals want to project to the world. But they're worried coronavirus, like the asylum seeker issue before it, will be yet another bump in the road.
Although this will be very short term, the publicity for Christmas Island isn't about a tourist destination. It's about, people being incarcerated for whatever reason.
But with more evacuees heading here for quarantine, that perception is unlikely to change for at least another 2 weeks. James Carmody, ABC News, Christmas Island.